Hello and welcome to my English lesson. I will be using a few strategies, basically kind of a cafeteria approach, just pick and choose a few little bits in order to get some, just like a more meaningful understanding of a poem. And that poem is Walt Whitman's "O Captain, My Captain." Now, before we can know where we're going, we have to have a goal in mind. If you have a goal in mind, you could have a gold mine. We're going to read and analyze Walt Whitman's "O Captain, My Captain," which is a beautiful, inspired poem, and also look at basically how to summarize the main idea, also looking at a few poetic devices. And what do I do first is I would show a short clip from the movie Dead Poets Society, where Robin Williams gets down on one knee and he says, "We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. And the human race is filled with passion." That gets them inspired, because my big philosophy of teaching is you have to inspire your students to want to learn. That's my hook, and they're ready to go. So then it's off to the races. And I distribute the poem. Everybody gets their copy of "O Captain, My Captain." I do a read aloud of the first stanza. That way they can hear the tone, just the pace, and the overall mood. Helps with fluency also. And then I would ask who wants to read, and then you can have a student read each stanza. And then I would ask a few basic questions like, what do you think's going on here, guys? Or do you like this poem? What's memorable about it? What are you drawn to? Just to kind of get them more involved. And then ask a question, do you think maybe there's more than what's being said? Maybe there's a difference between just saying and meaning. Maybe this is a metaphor, okay? Then I would have them get into little groups, and I would each have someone who'd be like the scribe in the group, and they would have a series of questions, okay? Where basically you would be able to unpack a text. Talking about you've got little bits like, rise up, and the bells. What could that signify? What do you think it means? You've fallen cold and dead is another memorable line. It's repeated. What does that mean? Just little basic questions just to lead them deeper into the text. And they're in their groups and they're answering these questions and they're basically taking notes and coming up with ideas. Then I'd have them go back to their seats. And kids really thrive with structure, where it's like it seems like a structureless structure, I don't know. But like the idea that, okay, get out of your seat, okay, get back to your seat. It's like so that we're moving around, we're not just sitting, we're not just bored. So then I say, get back to your seats, and what did you guys find? So we're looking at all these different, questions. A lot of them have to do with what do you think the ship's anchor could stand for, or sink for? What do you think these lines mean, and just have these examples, then we talk about it, okay? Then we would have a big discussion. I would give them a little bit of background also there about Walt Whitman. He lived in the 1800s. He experienced a lot in his life. So once we start to realize that, okay, the captain is Abraham Lincoln, we can talk about how Whitman was a nurse during the Civil War, and saw a lot of sadness, experienced great loss. And then we have a poem here where it's like, rise up and hear the bells, and then you're fallen cold and dead. So we're looking at conflict here, okay? Basically, what is the ship, okay? The anchor falling is the end of the Civil War, and the captain is the one who got us there, but he has fallen cold and dead. So we're really starting to unpack that there are multiple layers of meaning here, okay? Now, they've all taken notes about this. Now, this is where it gets really fun, because we're also talking about meaning, and we're talking about engaging with the text. Then I would have them get into groups and use the found poetry assignment. So they get back in their groups, they use all their notes as well as a few lines, maybe like rise up and hear the bells, to write their own lyrics, which are also their notes, which is something personal, memorable. Okay? But what they're going to do is then they're going to use technology and use what's called Makey Makey. So this is a quick little video of me making a drum out of a banana and some alligator clips and a laptop. So this is Makey Makey. Just a quick little clip. I don't know if you can really see that. So what they would have to do then in their groups, take their notes, take a few whatever key lines that help them to remember those meanings, right? Because again, there is conflict in this poem. Rise up! And he's fallen cold and dead, you know? So like one group could be the Wise Up group, you know, Rise Up, you know? And then the other group could be the Fallen Cold and Dead group. Another group could talk about like, you know, like the anchor. But basically what they're doing is they're gonna take their notes and they're gonna turn it into lyrics. And then by using Makey Makey, they will perform their song, which again just kind of gives a fuller comprehension of the class. Because not only are we taking our notes, but then we're acting on them. And I mean, you could have so much fun. The goal is to inspire them to want to learn, to dig deeper, and to give them, you know, the inspiration to help them to find meaning, not just in books, but in life, because life is like a book that demands a lot from us, but that you leave your students still thinking, so that I think they'd run out of the classroom and they'd be talking about this in the cafeteria, you know, or at recess, you know, and that is my lesson. Thank you.